Hello everyone, welcome to the online lecture of Vehicle Testing and Homologation. I am Milan Trivedi, Assistant Professor at LG Institute of Engineering and Technology. We are going to continue with our second chapter of BTH, Engine Fuel System and Emission Testing. Under this particular chapter, we had already started with the concept of the dynamometer. Four dynamometers we are having, that is a Prony brake, rope brake, hydraulic dynamometer and the eddy current dynamometer. These dynamometers are used to measure the value of torque, and from the torque we can find out the value of brake power. In this particular, we had already discussed about the Prony brake and the rope brake dynamometer. So let us understand the concept of third dynamometer, that is a hydraulic dynamometer. In order to understand the concept of this hydraulic dynamometer, we need to have an idea about the fluid flywheel, because this hydraulic dynamometer works on the principle of fluid flywheel itself. And believe me, this is the widely used hydraulic dynamometer, because Prony brake and the rope brake is having a number of disadvantages, that is high heat generation, high frictional losses, that all does not give an accurate value, as well as the component life becomes less. But this hydraulic dynamometer is having a number of different advantages. Based on that, it has been widely used in practice, not only in the engine testing part, but whenever we talk about a particular chassis dynamometer that we are going to discuss during this 7th or the 6th chapter. In that particular setup also we use this kind of hydraulic dynamometer itself. So for have better understanding of hydraulic dynamometer, we need to have an understanding of fluid flywheel. So what does this fluid flywheel principle works? So have a look on this particular two fans. Suppose two table fans you are having. This in this particular two table fan, one is attached with this electrical supply, but another is not attached with the electrical supply. So the once the fan which is attached with the electrical supply would start rotating, it will try to rotate the fan which is nearby but not even connected with the power supply. So that fan will also start rotating. Why it is rotating? Because it is due to the motion of the air particles. So whenever the fluid is in motion, it will try to transmit this particular energy. That is been visible in this particular GIF also. One member is rotating, another is steady, but still it will try to rotate due to the motion of the fluid. So that is the concept of the fluid flywheel, and which we are going to use in the concept of hydraulic dynamometer. So let us have a look of the construction part of hydraulic dynamometer. As shown in the figure, we are having this sky blue color region, that is a casing part. The red colored region in between, that is a rotor member which is mounted on the particular engine shaft, right? So this rotor member, if you have a look, then it is having a spherical type of cavity in between, right? In the casing part also you are having this cavity, in the rotor part also you are having that kind of cavity, right? So once this engine shaft is rotating, this particular red color rotor would also rotate inside the particular chamber or inside the particular casing. Now in this casing, in between this casing and the rotor, we are having a spherical groove like of passage, right? In that particular groove, water would be allowed to pass. So what will happen is, the once the water is there in between this particular casing region, from the particular rotor motion, it will try to rotate the casing part also. But this casing part is naturally a steady part. It has been kept steady with the help of this kind of tachometer, or it can be a spring balance weight. So that spring balance would try to stop the particular casing, but the force received at this particular casing part would be monitored, and that will give you the value of torque which is present in this particular engine shaft. Still, let us understand that in a detail. The first diagram shows that engine is coupled with this kind of dynamometer. This dynamometer, this red color is a casing part which has been attached with this kind of momentum arm. Inside that, this silver color region which is having this spherical groove also, that has been attached directly or coupled with this particular engine shaft. So this will be a rotating member, this silver color region. Now this silver color region is rotating, but in between that we are supplying a water from this particular external pipe. This red color region you are watching is a water droplet, right? So this particular water droplet, what it will try to do is, it will move along the periphery of this particular spherical rotor, but that motion will try to transmit on this particular red color region, but this red color region is actually coupled with this kind of spring balance weight that will not allow this particular casing, outer casing part to rotate, but it will try to stop that. But what is the value of torque which is available at that particular spring weight would be measured, right? So that from that way we can easily find out the torque which is available at this particular chamber. And this another thing is we need to keep on rotating this water. The same amount of volume of water would not be kept inside that particular chamber. The reason is that if we are keeping the same quantity of water, it will be in a constant motion. It will raise the temperature, and the evaporation of water chances would be higher due to the rise in temperature. So we are constantly supplying the water so that the water remain cooled down, right? So this is how the particular hydraulic dynamometer works. Now let us understand the next dynamometer, that is a eddy current dynamometer. This eddy current dynamometer works on the principle of generation of eddy current. But before understanding this particular concept, we need to have a look that whenever the electricity is there, chances of magnetism is there. Whenever magnetism is there, chances of electricity is always there. So in this particular region, what we are actually doing is we are having this coil through which the current is passing. Now, in between this coil, if we are keeping certain conductive material which is steady, then no problem would be there. But once we are giving motion to that particular conductor in between this particular electric field, then it will generate the eddy current. Then the eddy current would be produced, right? Now, how does that is helpful in our concept that we need to understand? In this particular concept, eddy currents are being produced. But let us understand the setup first of all. The engine shaft is actually coupled with this kind of rotor. This rotor is rotating in the particular stator region which is having a coils. Now this coils would be either a magnetic coils even, right? So magnetic field would be there. Once this magnetic field will be there, or it can be through the electrical supply also. Once this field would be there, if the rotor is cutting that particular field, once the rotor will rotate, it will cut that particular field. If it is cutting that particular field, then the eddy current would be produced. Now what does this eddy current will try to do is that will try to mitigate the source from which it is generated. It will try to stop the source from which it has been generated. So it will try to it will stop its rpm, but it will try to transmit the rpm to the outer stator part. But the stator part is again attached with the different kind of spring valence weight or a torque arm which will try to stop the stator. How much force is received on that would be measured, right? So it is same fundamental of hydraulic dynamometer. In hydraulic, the motion from the stator was transmitted to this, from the rotor to the stator, it was transmitted with the help of a fluid medium. But in this, it is due to the production of the eddy current, because eddy currents are produced due to the cutting of that particular magnetic or the electrical field. So eddy current would be generated that will try to mitigate the source from which it's generated, right? So naturally the stator would try to move, but how much force is required in order to stop that would be measured, which is giving the value of torque which is available with the engine shaft. So that's all about this eddy current dynamometer. If we take a 3D view, it is appearing like this. The shaft, apart from that tachometer which is used to measure the rpm value, housing in which the particular rotor would be there. In this housing we are having this different magnetic field. That magnetic field will be cut with the help of this rotor, but on cutting that the eddy current would be produced, but that eddy current will try to stop that, and it will try to rotate this particular stator region, but it is attached with the torque arm. So that torque arm value will give you the value of force which is available. This is how we can measure the torque. Now let us just have an outlook of the different powers which is there in the particular engine. Normally we are dealing with these three different powers, that is brake power, indicator and the friction power. Brake power is the power which is available at the engine shaft. Indicated power which is available at this particular chamber region, right, inside the engine. through which the conversion of heat energy into this particular mechanical form takes place, right? In between, this indicated power value would be different and the brake power value would be different. The naturally due to the friction loss it is happening. So that is nothing but it is a friction power. Just we are keeping up to this in the today's lecture. Finally, thanks for watching.